Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Joypad Podcast. I am your esteemed host-ish thing, Mr. Michael Fleming. With me tonight is Tom and Mr. Michael Pinto. Just the three of us. Megan is MIA again, thinking she's back to her nightly job duties, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll have her back soon. Anyway, I will just tell you right now that I am drinking a Baja Blast because I had Taco Bell tonight, and it's so good. And I had to get that out before I passed it off to anybody else, because while it's unsponsored, it is necessary that our fans know about it. So, Tom, you seem intrigued. Why don't we start with you tonight? How are you doing? What have you been playing? What are you drinking? How's your new 4090, which I know you purchased? All that stuff.
Well, I'm not drinking a Baja Blast, unfortunately, but I do have a Diet Pepsi. I was laughing to Pinto earlier. My new work that I started last week is sharing in a text thread right now about all of the different alcoholic drinks they're having right now. And I'm like, I got a Diet Pepsi. I'm hanging out.
How old is, like, what's the mean age of that group? I'm just curious.
40 to 45, probably.
Damn. Okay, I thought it was going to skew younger, but no. I guess alcoholism makes fools of us all.
It's parents that I think are all drinking to de-stress from having children, which is very valid. Yeah, I have been playing Stardew Valley incessantly.
The most graphically challenging of games.
Yes, 110%. I mean, the biggest thing I can say is you do feel the mods on the CPU, which has nothing to do with GPU, but loading up all those mods, it actually goes pretty quickly, coming off an SSD and getting loaded on a fast CPU, which I don't have the fastest CPU anymore. We can get to that eventually. So, but yeah, I've gotten fairly far. I'm stilling a lot of gin. I'm up to the point where I'm making $50,000 every day, and I'm doing a whole lot of farming, but I don't know if I really need to anymore. So I might get to the point where I start using less farmland and start installing more sheds, and then just convert more alcohol production. And that'll be fun. I have my first dinosaur. I have a void chicken egg in the hatchery. I built like my second coop, which has the dinosaur in it, so I'm just kind of working off of that. Have you guys ever made a slime hutch in the game?
Yes, and I'll tell you what my favorite thing to do with the slime hutch is.
Go on.
So you get the slime eggs, but you don't put them into the slime hutch because the slime hutch has a limited capacity. What you do is you take your slime incubators and you put them in town, and when the slimes hatch in town, they'll bounce around and say hello to all the townspeople, and the townspeople will say hello back. So it'll be like, hello, Haley, and Haley will be like, hello, blue slime.
I did not know that's a thing. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I've never built a slime hatch before this run, but with the mods that I'm running, a lot of the advanced machines that you can build require a lot of slime, so they encourage you to kind of build that and use it, which is, I think, a good idea. So I have things like glass jars, which are used for the kombucha, and I think those require 50 to 100 slime each. So yeah, I actually had to get that up and running to accommodate that. There's also a whole bunch of different trees. Pinto, I think, is a part of just the regular Stardew Valley expanded. There's that Grandpa's Shed area. Have you done that?
Yeah. It basically gives you an extra greenhouse and cellar. Yeah, because you can put casks in there as well. Yeah,
so I just unlocked that, and I don't want to do extra farming, so I'm just putting trees up there. And there's also the community garden, and I'm growing trees in there too. So there's a lot of extra things that you really want to get from trees in the Artisan Valley Goods section, like cocoa pods come from trees, which you need to make chocolate, which you can make chocolate mocha coffees, or dang it, I had something else and I forgot what it was, but like just doing various different things that involve chocolate. And there's a lot of them. So having that kind of extra space to dedicate to that is pretty good. and because I already have a ton of trees up, and I don't know where the hell else to put the space for that. So, but yeah, it's all pale ales and gin right now, and I'm actually still in enough gin that my like 3,000 juniper berries are wearing down, which is pretty entertaining. But yeah, that's been my game experience. I'm at the end of summer year 2, and I'm just strolling on through. I'm having a good time with it. I'm finally at the point, I think, where I'm starting to have enough. Where it's like you hit the diminishing returns of Stardew Valley once you have enough money and you've seen all the things that you can do.
Did you do Ginger Island?
I have not done Ginger Island in this playthrough, but I've done it in other games anyway. So so it's like it would be new to this playthrough, but I've already done it, so it's whatever. But yeah, so I think that's actually about it for me. Pinso, how about you? What are you doing? What are you drinking? Why don't you tell us about new gaming developments that you have had?
Waiting for this car to go by. I'm good. I'm drinking a wild cherry Pepsi, the wildest of cherries, and just some water, because I did not drink enough water today, and I need to be a healthy boy. In terms of games, well, I have a new computer, and it's very nice. I haven't had much time to play games. This past weekend, the three of us convened at Mr. Michael Fleming's home, ate a lot of delicious food, and put together 2 computers. And it was a good time. We went to Micro Center, where I learned a lot of things, but mostly that I don't know much about building computers. I heard a lot of numbers and letters, and basically what I gleaned from it is that the higher the numbers, the better the thing, just like most things. It was basically like, oh yeah, if you want a video card, you have a 1080i, that's pretty good, but if you want a better one, you should go with a 3090, but if you want to really, really get up there, get a 4090. I'm like, all right, bigger numbers, better. Cores, i7's cool, that's what I have, but an i9, that's what you want. You want to go higher. Always go higher.
Do they still make i9s?
I have no idea.
The one that I got is an i9.
Oh yeah.
So
Do I have an i9? I think I do.
12900K?
Yeah, I have an i9. What am I thinking?
i9.
I was thinking of like the X series,
again,
like the i7
higher
X's
numbers
and
better.
the i9
Power
X's,
supply,
which
I have
are-
a 750, but that's good for me. But if I needed more, I would just go higher and get an 850 or a 1000. It's all higher numbers. Am I wrong?
No,
Thank
it's
you.
been that way forever. You are right.
Well, I mean, it's it's like saying
It's a gross simplification, I know, but
yeah, but I mean, it's like talking about putting engines on a plane. More engines make plane go faster.
putting
Vroom.
more engines on raft to make it go faster, but not adding
Longer-
more sails. We've learned that.
Longer plane hold more people. You
Yeah.
know, it's how dimensions work.
But yeah, beyond building the new computer, I haven't had much time to play new games. I did purchase the Resident Evil 4 remake, but I want to finish replaying the OG. I'm almost done with it because I think that once I play the remake, I'll probably never play the old one again. I don't know if that's true, but it's definitely possible.
It's probably true.
And like RE4, that might not be the case, but like the if you try and go back and play the original Resident Evil 1 through 3, it's tough, man. The tank controls and the camera angles and all that, it's a bad time. So
Pinto, I just have to say, you said RE4, and I know this won't be published today, but it is the 20th of the 4th month of the year.
It is
and
420.
RE4 sounds like Re4.
RE4.
Enjoy that, you
Blaze it.
stony brownies.
That's right. Yeah, that's really all I've had time to play. I edited it sounds like weird time travel. I edited today's episode of the podcast, the one that came out on this day that we're recording. And man, like, it processed super quickly. I was very happy about that. It's just an overall quality of life improvement that I'm very happy about. And I also mentioned this to Tom before we started. I bought a new monitor, which I was like, oh my god, that's another loud car. I gotta shut my window. So I bought a new monitor. It's there, nice. But I only bought one, and I'm a 2-monitor man. And I was like, I'll just use one of my old monitors. And holy crap, the difference is very noticeable. My old one looks washed out as hell. And I'm just like, I gotta get a new... I gotta complete the set very soon, I think. But...
You might be able to fidget with the color settings on your old monitor, though, and make it a little bit more livable in the meantime. I mean, I have done that in the past to great success. Great success.
Great, very nice. Welcome to Borat Cast. My wife.
But no, it was fun building your PC with you, since we got to do that as a friendship exercise.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by how nicely it all came together and how well it works. And I think it is a nice leap it's a great leap forward for your PC capabilities.
Yes it is. But I'm not the only one that built a new PC, and my PC both looks and feels like a baby PC compared to what Fleming built. So
no, it's not that much of a difference.
Your fans are larger than my case, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about how large that... So to give context to anyone who was not at my house, which would be weird if you were.
Which is pretty much everyone.
They were all watching. You just didn't see it. They were all there.
Yes, that'd be very weird. I closed the blinds, man. We were safe. Or the curtains, excuse me.
I always left your bathroom curtains wide open while I was taking a whiz. So, like, if any of your neighbors walked by, good times.
What's that large Asian man doing? Oh, God. Anyway, yes, I did build a new computer as well. It's been... So, my upgrade path, if you'll call it that, is typically every I'm just gonna say every 5-ish years I feel the need to do it, and so I actually have been closer to, I think, 7 almost years, because I did it in 2016. So yeah, it was almost 7 years, closing in on it. So I decided, you know what, it is time. I really was starting to feel it in certain applications. I do a lot of like VMs and stuff, and with a i7-6700K, you only get 8 processing threads, which, if you have 3 different VMs running and each of them are taking up 2 cores doing something, and then you have your primary machine trying to keep up, it just got a little bit bogged down. So I was just like looking to start upgrading, and then it was perfect timing, because Micro Center's not the closest thing. It's fairly close, but not the closest thing. So you want to make it worthwhile. And it was fun doing it together. For me, actually, the big improvement I'd say that I've seen so far is storage. So I had one NVMe, which was basically only big enough to put my OS on. A pretty small one. I could put like maybe a game where I could download my files to that first. But I really couldn't do much on that. But then I bought multiple NVMEs to store games, to pull in like, let's say, files that I have, pictures that I take, stuff like that. I haven't got too much time because, it's been a busy week. But having even just transfer the files in, that was... a wonderful experience, seeing how fast I can move things around on NVMe to NVMe.
It's so good.
It is so good. It was so good, and I loved it. My computer, once it passes BIOS, the BIOS takes a little longer than I expected, but once it passes BIOS, I'm in Windows in like 2 seconds. So that's wonderful. But I did have an issue happen. It wasn't a big one, but what happened was like we provided we broke the wall, if you will, by saying that it's April 20th. And for anyone that is not American, it was tax season, and Mr. Michael Fleming had not finished his taxes, and he is responsible for doing that. Now, I had done federal, so H&R Block was done, and in Pennsylvania, you can use like a free e-file site, and you also have our local one can also be through like an online website, which is great. Appreciate that. Thank you, Pennsylvania, for having decent, county and state taxes.
Of course, they're all disconnected, which is
they're all disconnected, and I shouldn't have to do it. And we could go into tax stuff all we want, but let's push that to the side.
I noticed the omission of local taxes.
Oh, I that's what I meant by county. My apologies.
Okay. I was gonna say because I almost forgot to do my local taxes. I did them the day before they were due. Local's not a big deal though.
Well,
very rarely.
Brief aside. I don't live in Pennsylvania. I live in New Jersey now, and there is no local tax in New Jersey, and I fucking love that. I mean, I still probably pay enough of a higher tax rate that it washes out, but
it does. Yeah.
Local tax is a huge pain in the ass, and as someone who was an absentee homeowner in Pennsylvania that used to rent out his house and count the local tax as a Texan, yeah, fuck that. I couldn't even use an online system. Sucked. Anyway, go on.
Welcome to the Joypad Taxcast.
So,
tax sucks.
No, that was the only reason I'm mentioning that is because I have always been a huge fan of what's called shucking. For those of you that are not PC builders, no. For those of you that are not PC builders, that is where you take an external hard drive, which is typically cheaper than a OEM or just a hard drive you buy online, and pulling it out of its plastic case and throwing it in your PC. Now, if you've never done that, it's great because typically yes, thank you, Tom, for the YouTube demonstration.
Aid, yes.
Yes, the visual aid. But
I have a 2 terabyte that I just did this with recently because I thought it was bigger than 2 terabytes and I was going to use it in a NAS, and I saw 2 terabytes and I went, what the fuck is this shit? Now it's just sitting on my desk.
Oh, well. So anyway, the point of this is I had a huge 10 terabyte one that I bought a couple of years ago, and that stores all my private files, including my taxes. That's where I'm basically going with this. I don't print my tax returns anymore after I'm done. I save like a file and they're backed up but on that drive, but like I don't really print them totally anymore.
Same.
Pennsylvania, to verify your identity, requires that you show how much you made or how much you paid in taxes the previous year, which I had no idea what the number was.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point of what I'm getting to with this is that hard drive, by being shucked, required me, the way like Seagate in that case, or no, excuse me, it was Western Digital. The way Western Digital has like kind of countered people doing that is by putting extra pins on their hard drives that if you plug it into a regular SATA, it does not work internally to your PC. And you can rip them off, but that gets a little iffy and can break warranty if you ever have to like try to send it to them. You can also try to put electrical tape, which is what I had been doing. However, I removed it from my system to rebuild. It lost the electrical tape, and I was very confused for a few hours on Sunday and Monday morning. Like, well, it wasn't quite Monday morning. It was Monday afternoon. A little bit of morning because I went down before work, but then I had to put it to the side for work. And I'm like, why is my hard drive not working? I was so like confused. Finally remembered that was a thing I had to do, and I couldn't get it to work now. My fingers are just not delicate enough. So here I am, approximately less than 36, like about 30 hours before taxes are due and you get arrested by the IRS.
That's how it works.
Kidding. Just kidding. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. And I'm like, oh God, how am I going to get this to work? But fortunately, and you both know, I have one of those external SATA ones, which actually does still work because it doesn't have the same pins as like a OEM PSU's SATA cables. So I was able to get into it. Those files are very small. They're just PDF documents of my taxes. I was able to find the taxes that I paid, and I was able to complete my taxes on Monday evening, which, was less than 24 or about 24 hours before they were due. So it was a little bit of a panic for PC Builder. Probably not the best time to have done that, and especially not to have backed up in multiple locations your, personal and very important files. Probably should consider printing them out. Don't know if I'm actually going to do that. But anyway,
use a cloud backup. Pull them out of the cloud.
That was my, I'm not going to put my social security number on the cloud.
Well, you get them encrypted and then you download the cloud backup of the drive.
Yeah, but then you misconfigure something, like everyone that I deal with at work who misconfigures crap. Naturally, my work's fine, but broader than that. the world as it is misconfigures a lot in the cloud. Now
Well,
we can have a
good
big
scrub.
we can have a big technical debate about cloud versus on-prem, but let's put that to the side. That's more of a business thing, and let's focus on computers. So, like I said, I had a wonderful storage, kind of experience there. Now it's all working. Everything's moved over. It's all great. I really don't want to use hard drives anymore, but they're so cheap. It's just like. So I didn't put the 10 terabyte back in because, like I said, I couldn't get it to work with the little electrical tape hack. I just have it kind of sitting on the tower. But I'm like, I do need some extra storage for like that kind of stuff that I have. It's just like years upon years of, I don't know, bee images and other stuff like that I don't want to lose because they're so funny.
How can I hold all these memes?
Exactly. I need my meme drive, and so I'm like. I want to get a hard drive for that, but like I want to get something that's just big and never needs to be changed. So like a 10 terabyte, which they don't even sell that in SSD. So it's kind of like, do I just buy like big hard drives?
It'll
Like,
get there eventually. I mean, that's there's two things. One is if you need the big chungus drive, you got to get a HDD. It's just how it is. I still have my 4 terabyte HDD on this computer, which I built my computer a little over a year ago, for the record. Like I said, I don't have the latest processor now because Fleming has the latest and greatest processor. Mine is a generation behind his now.
Well, you're gonna upgrade next year or something.
No. I'm very good right now. Like everything runs. You've seen how your computer runs. It's like mine runs like the same. It's very good. I bought that 4 terabyte solid state drive that we talked about. I forget if we talked about that on the podcast or not, but I have that, and I started moving a lot of my games onto that, which helped because my 4 terabyte hard drive was getting filled up. So all the games have moved over there, and now it's kind of like an even split between the two. So I have, my junk drive, and then I have my like game drive and program drive, things I need to run fast. But I mean, like really, like the biggest capacity you're gonna get in solid state, unless you're getting dumb with spending money, is like 4 terabyte, and even then you're spending a lot of money. So.
Yeah, and like if you go onto, this is not a sponsorship, I just know about them. If you go onto serverpartdeals.com, they sell a lot of like recertified hard drives. A lot of people say they're pretty darn good. They don't. You don't think they're that good?
I'm scared about recertified hard drives, man.
Well, that's why you got, like, if you raid them though, or like you can deal with one loss, like it's pretty good. And like some of them like like people have posted how many power on hours they've had, and it's like several thousand at most. And that's not that much for a hard drive. So I get your point. Brand new is better, but anything can fail.
Well, and if you're talking about rating it and you can afford a loss and stuff, that's when you're already talking about having physical redundancies and potentially cloud backups, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a pretty advanced concept. I would say not a lot of people are equipped to do that kind of thing. Whereas, people like you or I might look at doing that. Me, I'd rather get a new and just eat the little bit of additional expense for the peace of mind. But
here's the thing. I agree with you in the sense of warranty. You'll get like a 5-year, or depends on the hard drive you buy, but let's just say 5-year warranty versus like a 1-year warranty, and it might be from a different manufacturer. It might be from a recertifier versus a manufacturer warranty, but any hard drive could fail, any solid state, any NVMe could fail. I'm not too concerned if I lose my game drive, but I'd be devastated if I lost my personal hard drive. And so I've been thinking at some point, especially like photos that I take and stuff in the coming years, like I don't want to lose that stuff. So it's one of those where I feel like I probably will, when I see a good sale, set up, a in-house NAS. So I do have another NAS, but that one is exposed to the internet basically, and I would not put my personal stuff on that one. It's kind of segmented in my home router, but I can set up something in my computer, for example, of that kind of stuff. That way it's saved there, it's backed up, it's rated, and then if I want to, I can upload it somewhere else too. But at least getting it on multiple hard drives and a lot of storage space because pictures get very big now with 32 megapixel cameras. So I think it'd be I think it's something I want to do. So like I'm already looking down the road, but I will just end my PC rant. And I'm sure that's gonna be a topic or title of please make Pinto, please make the topic like or Michael's storage woes or something, Fleming storage woes. I don't know, do something like that because I feel like I've been talking a lot about storage
wars.
But I just that's something that is on my mind now after my near tax issues. But to summarize, my PC is awesome. It's so good. I can't wait to play with it more this weekend as we move past the build stages. Anyway, I don't have a topic, but that was my topic.
Well, I figured we'd end up talking just about like PCs and building PCs because it's fresh on all of our minds. We just spent a weekend doing it.
And we spent a lot of money. Do you guys know what the average budget now is for a PC? I'm kind of curious about that.
Should I look at logical increments?
$2,000.
Yeah, do a Google search.
I would be willing to bet that Pinto's is probably average.
1,200-ish?
1,000 to 1,200, yeah.
I would probably guess it's somewhere in that too, especially for an upgrade. Like if you're keeping a case, for example, or you have some monitors already.
The good build, which does not include a monitor on logical increments, is 805. The very good is 919, and the great is 1109. None of those include a monitor. All of those only include one hard drive, I believe. And they have you at 8 gigabytes of RAM. So I think that's on the lower side of what you'd be doing in those build ranges too. So it's a very I wouldn't call that a conservative estimate. I would call that a low estimate.
Yeah, and I know that if you go into like Micro Center, Newegg, I don't think I've seen them on Amazon, but I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. Like the combo deals, you typically see between $600 and like $900 for the hard drive or for the motherboard and RAM and processor, or just the processor and the motherboard. It's typically what you see. I've seen some with RAM. Pinto, you got that combo with the RAM. Are you planning to sell that?
Yeah, if anyone listening wants to buy some RAM, send an email to joypadpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll sell you a nice 16. No, 32. I have 32. It's 32.
It was 16.
It was 16 in the combo. You had bought 32 by yourself.
Hang on. For our YouTube viewers, I've got it right here. If I can get it
got
out of the damn box.
He's got the Rammies.
Here it is, right here.
Spam the RAM.
Spam the RAM.
It's still got my associate ID. His name was William Beasley. Very helpful. Thank you, William.
It'd be awesome if you listened to the podcast.
Shout out to William, who also
William
tried
did
to
pretty all right by
upsell
us.
Fleming a 4090 video card.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's talk about that really quick. So Micro Center is very good at selling extra stuff. They actually upsell you, Tom, I would think too. We can talk about that in a second. But I wanted a 13900K. I think I have a decent case for it. I wouldn't say I have a great one, but more
your
money
case
than
is
sense
fine
sometimes.
for it. As the owner of a 4090, your case is fine.
That's true. My processor and motherboard were less, but I bought a very expensive motherboard as well. Tom and I think even talked about it on the podcast. If not, the summary would be that you only buy your motherboard once, and I keep it for 5 years. Why not get a high-end one? Which, the wireless, so good. The extra USB ports,
Did I not tell you? I think all I was saying while we were building these were just like, you're getting like the wireless upgrade. You're just gonna fucking love how much faster it is. It's so
much
nice.
faster. I was using some kind of old expansion card that was not very fast. This thing's Wi-Fi 6.
Been on that same TP-Link 5 gigahertz band adapter. I know the change.
And when I switched to Wi-Fi 6 router a year or something ago when my old one was just cutting out consistently, and I bought a really high-end router. It was over $200. But it had Wi-Fi 6. My phone was Wi-Fi 6, and I was like, it's so fast on my phone.
Yeah.
My PC wasn't keeping up with that. And then when I moved, I was like, oh, that is a lot faster. So that was a very, very good upgrade, component of it. But I bought a very expensive motherboard, in the like high-end tier, and then I bought a high-end processor. So I think that, what was his name? William,
good old Bill.
Yes, William Bill at the Micro
Beasley.
Center. Bill at the Micro Center said, hey, you really like. I told him I really like Gigabyte products, and I do. I just think they're a very good aftermarket, builder of components for your PC. And so I told him I really like Gigabyte motherboards, and he's like, yeah, I do too. And I thought we were just like having a BIOS discussion or something, because that's like, I'm comfortable in their BIOS versus others. And all of a sudden he just goes, yeah, did you see the new Gigabyte card that came in? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, didn't know what he was talking about at first. And then he like flips his monitor around and shows me an $1,800 4090, like the highest end by Gigabyte aftermarket cooler that is gonna
Comes with a water block
definitely be
pre-installed.
very, very
Cool.
good. Yeah, definitely be an amazing card. But like, yeah, I bought something that was let's just say about $1,100. He was trying to sell me $1,800 more of product when I did not even say I needed a video card. I just needed the processor and the motherboard at that moment. And so Micro Center is just the upselling of things. They did it to Pinto, they did it to others. They were talking about warranties and protection plans through them, and I'm just like, guys, like, just give me the processor, give me the motherboard. I'll buy one or two other things, and then I'm out.
For the record, he saw that you were buying that motherboard, and he said, "Oh, did you see they released like the matching card? Oh, look at this! It's in the same series. Oh, it's sweet 4090. It looks super cool. Oh, it has a screen on the side of it. Oh, look how cool that is."
He did mention this little screen on the side, like, and I'm just thinking, like, he obviously doesn't know me, because like he doesn't, but my
Actually, he does.
You
never
me?
knew this, but you grew up with Bill. He's actually
Bill and I
he's
are
actually
buds.
one of your old Counter-Strike friends from the internet.
Yeah.
He goes by Bill Abomination.
Bill Abomination, I like it.
Yeah.
But no, my case is not have a open side panel, and I think for me personally, being like, yeah, guys, come check out my sweet build is not something that would ever come out of my mouth in a legitimate fashion. I would, if someone said, hey, what computer are you running? I would absolutely tell them, but I wouldn't show them my build. Like, that's just weird to me. But good on you if you guys like to show your RGB out there or whatever. I didn't buy anything with RGB.
I do
At
have
least
an open
intentionally.
side panel, and I still wouldn't give a shit about something like that. I have a 4090, and it doesn't have a screen on the side of it. Surprise, surprise. It also costs like $300 less than what they were trying to sell you at Micro Center.
That is also true.
And is a 4090 that will do the exact same, like,
It'll be just about
graphics.
the exact same, yeah.
It'll go the exact same fast zoom speed. Vroom.
Well, before my 2070 Super, which is what I'm running now, I was running a GTX 670 that I got in like 2012. So I'm not very video card focused typically in my builds, but some people love it, and some people play those really graphically intense games. I know when I was playing Uncharted and I got into the waterfall scene with all the waterfalls, that got a little bit buggy, and I had to cut the graphics down to like low to get through it, because it was screen tearing like crazy. But outside of that, I've never had a problem. So why would I get that? Why would I spend 1.6 times more or whatever to buy that card as well?
Well,
I would have been divorced by the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, it's about what you want. And I mean, I wouldn't, again, as the owner of a 4090, I would not advise people to go out and buy a 4090 just like off the cuff. Like, you don't need to do it. But like for me, I had a bonus, and I had a card that felt like on its way out. I had already triaged it multiple times. So I felt like it was a decent time to do it, and I saw a deal and availability on it. So, that's my story. And I have seen benefits of the performance for what I have done in Stardew Valley. Of course, that's the game.
Yeah.
But no, I played Stellaris, and I forget if I mentioned this or not, but Stellaris can be very graphically intensive when you're looking at all of the different elements that are all functioning independently in the game. and kind of like zooming in and out, it is very snappy with that kind of stuff. So that in combination with having like an i9 12900, it is what makes those kind of games work at the kind of peak performance you want.
Yeah, let's keep talking about upselling though, Tom, because you kind of got upsold, and I'd love for you to share that story. And I feel like this is going to be one of our topic items for today.
I'm not unhappy with what I got, so I'm gonna put that out there. I did set it up. I was in the neighborhood of shopping for a bridge or an extender for my wireless network because it doesn't reach my basement very well from where I am. So I'm not super knowledgeable about extenders and stuff. I was looking at the kind of like plug-in extenders, and the guy ended up moving me basically off of like the plug-in extenders off to like the actual router networks, and ended up selling me an Orbi. I think it's like an Orbi Pro Mini network. And it works well. It works better than what I had before, and that's what I was looking for. It seems like it's more powerful and it gets better penetration down in the basement. Penetration. So I feel okay with that. I mean, would it have worked as well if I had just bought the plug-in extenders? I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did either. Like that's kind of where the point of the upsell comes in, I think. And I don't know, I'm in a position where I can afford that upsell, and I would like to make sure that I have a very high quality product that's running. But I could also kind of tell that the guy didn't really know much more than me. And he was like looking at the box and stuff. And I'm like, when we got to the end of it, I was basically like, okay, I know how many units I need. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. This is a solution I have not attempted before. If it has good coverage and it works, I will be satisfied with it.
Did the numbers get bigger as he was explaining things to you?
That's the problem with Wi-Fi. There's no numbers to get bigger. There were no numbers. If there were bigger numbers, I would have trusted it more. Like
they don't follow the same scheme.
They don't even advertise the range that they'll broadcast out to, because there's all different environmental conditions.
Sense, the bigger numbers would make sense. It would be like 1,200 feet. You'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, 1,500 feet. There it is. Bigger's better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. I don't know. It was kind of stupid. I mean, I was looking at as much as I could online myself, and it was basically just a question of like, do I want to try this out or do I not? And ultimately, I thought, yeah, I'll try it out. And I hooked it up, and it works. And it was, in my opinion, easier to set up than the Eero system that I had before. It does still have its own network name, but I think that's expected. But it seems to run faster than what the Eero had done, which is what I was looking for. So I was pulling good speeds in the area of the house that I wanted to. I actually got there with fewer nodes too. So I'm a satisfied boy, and I'm okay with that. So
can you give that Micro Center employee a shout out? Do you have his commission sticker?
It's on a box. It's in the basement.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't think. Yeah, he didn't put it on the magnetic tray that I have. That's like one room away. But I wouldn't shout him out like Big Bill though. Big Bill did good by us. This guy was like, yeah, I don't know. Really, the Eero's not working for you? I'm like, yeah, it's not.
You know who you are.
Yeah, I wasn't terribly impressed by him.
He's also a podcast listener, so he'll pick it up and be like, that was me, I did that.
I was mediocre. It was me.
I wasn't knowledgeable at all. And then
he knew some stuff. I can't call him. Like, if you went to Best Buy and you were trying to talk to somebody about that stuff, they would know so much less.
Mm-hmm.
So dude, going to Best Buy is like, when they ask you if you need help, you're like, I'll be fine by myself, thank you.
Yeah. There has been one or two times where I've been in Best Buy and I've just been like, this is the exact thing I'm looking for. Can you tell me where it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I did when I went on Sunday because I didn't have the correct cable to connect my old broke-ass monitor to my new shiny computer. So I was like, oh, I need a DisplayPort converter. So I looked online and they were like, available in store. And I went in the store and I asked the guy, he's like, no, we don't have those. And I was like, fuck you. So then I got sushi and I felt better. And I ordered the damn thing on Amazon.
Yeah, that was a miss by us not to think about that.
Yeah, I
but
didn't think about
at the
it
same
yet.
time though, you didn't really get help with your monitor, right? Like we kind of asked, but for the most part, he
basically just showed me because I have very limited physical space in which to put a monitor, so I didn't want anything big. So I was just like, just please show me what 24-inch monitors you have in stock. And he was like, okay, here's what we have. So it's like, all right.
Incredibly reasonable, by the way, to not have the physical space. Like, I would say that's what monitors are all about, is like finding what works for your physical space.
Yeah. Eventually, I would like to get bigger monitors, but for now, I'm good with 224s. That's good for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you had gotten help and like actually, because we walked around and we found that monitor, and then you're like, oh, this monitor actually looks good. I'll buy this one. I would hope that if he had been helping you more, he would have called out the fact that they don't come with DisplayPort cables.
Yeah, I would have expected it to come with a cable.
I'm surprised too. It probably came with an HDMI though, right, Pinto?
Yes, but
yeah,
I didn't even think to look. Tom was gracious enough to give me one of his old video cards at a very nice price. But I didn't look at the display, or yes, obviously the display ports. But I didn't look at the ports on the back, and I didn't realize that there was only one HDMI port on the video card. So I was like, oh, I don't have the correct cables.
For the record, I have had that exact same situation in the past, Pinto, probably with that exact same card. So. You're following a rich tradition.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. The converter I bought cost me like $8.
Yeah,
so
they're cheap.
It's fine.
I am wondering, because you said your other screen looks kind of washed out. I wonder if you were to like run the HDMI to that one and then like do a straight display cable from the other one, if that would make the picture better on that one.
Doesn't matter to me. I don't.
Because sometimes those converters just wash stuff out or something.
I just have a primary monitor, and that's fine with me. You know.
Okay. There's all kinds of goofy shit you can try with this stuff. I guess that's what.
Yeah. I think we've exhausted the PC building topic at this point, but I think we all had like a wonderful time, not just because of building PCs, but building PCs with friends is so much better, especially if multiple of you are doing stuff to your PCs. It's so much more fun and enjoyable. We had, like I said, we had an hour drive to Micro Center, so it was nice to kind of get in the car together and do that versus like all going separately and putting them together, or putting them together separately, if you will. So.
I've never experienced this before, so I will say if you have the chance, have a friend that isn't building a PC help too, because I was just able to kind of float between and like be an extra set of hands working on either computer at any given time, and I think that worked out very nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. Except when you forget to plug in the person's 4-pin or 8-pin PC or.
It was
PSU,
4-pin. It was 4-pin. I realized that it wasn't there, and I remembered having like a similar issue on my own board and going like, I think I just didn't plug it in. It was okay, and clearly I was wrong. Like I think I probably did the exact same thing to my board before. But like, because I looked at all the power cables and it didn't look like there was a split on any of them. And of course there was at the end of the day, but like I looked at them good, man. Like I looked at all of them and I was just like, there ought to be something that goes into this, and I'm not finding it.
I'm just busting your balls.
An hour later. Nah, man.
But it was funny because it was like 9 o'clock at night. You guys were getting ready. Maybe not 9, 8 o'clock at night. You guys pretty much needed to leave pretty soon to get home at a reasonable hour. And Pinto's, your PC's not booting up, and we're like all like, what happened? Why is it not working? So.
Something like that always happens.
There's
So
always
that's the thing.
there's always some little thing like that where it's just like, well, that was fucking stupid of me.
Well, I mean, we ran into it too where we were on both computers. So something is fucked up in BIOS where we're using old drives and we were trying to boot from the SSDs or Fleming, I think you were on NVMe that you were trying to boot from.
Yeah. That's
from
right.
previous systems. And they weren't showing up. Fleming froze with a great expression on his face.
That is a good one.
Hey, my Skype just decided I shouldn't be in the call anymore. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Pull up snipping tool.
And that's fine.
Are you
fine.
grabbing that picture, Tom?
You know I'm grabbing that
Oh,
picture.
am I still frozen?
Oh,
Wonderful.
yeah. You have an awesome expression on your face. It is never going to leave.
Okay, well, I'll try to reboot the.
It's actually
camera
it's very Oliver Twistish. It's very, please sir, may I have some more?
Please, sir, may I have some more CPU cores?
CPU.
But what was
Yeah.
it? I was saying something when that unfortunate incident occurred. It does happen. And yeah, the storage with the UEFI was a little weird and how that happened. I will say Acronis made it very nice to boot up. However, my Windows 10 CD key stopped working, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, it did. So remember how I said activate Windows? It would not let me use that CD key anymore. So I just went to a very small reseller of retail keys. And, oh my god. Enjoy it. Eat your heart out, YouTube. Look at that heart throb.
Enjoy that, YouTube. Woo.
There he is.
Dude, that is a picture.
Oh boy.
I'm just
feels
gonna
like-
stay here so that can be up for the rest of the.
It feels
the
like a
podcast.
meme. It feels like something that would have a caption of try to build a PC try to build a 1300K with a Z790 board but use DDR4 RAM or something. It's just I look so just eyes open, just staring.
It's not quite as good as the old days of your Skype camera corrupting and you have
yeah.
Detaching
three
your face.
different images of yourself phasing in.
Well, that is a wonderful picture. I need a haircut too. I can tell that. Well, eat your heart out, YouTube. I don't know what else to say about that.
If you're just listening, jump to the podcast around the 45-minute mark to see Fleming's amazing face. Anyway, now I have all the medals.
You
Who's
do.
not trail runner, marathon runner now?
Yeah, you're perfect. You're looking good, man. I was really confused because you're blocking where my face was. And
Yeah.
so I was like, how did he get my background? And then you moved over to the side, and all of a sudden I just see me creep up into your background.
Green screen yourself into his room.
More or less.
I should green screen myself, but still have me, so every time I move, you see a second me.
It's your placeholder for I gotta go pee. Don't worry, I'm still here.
When I moved from Texas to Jersey, I took a picture without me in it of my Texas background so that I could troll people, just pretend that I never left that office. It's pretty good.
Perfect.
But yeah, the BIOS thing was what I was bringing up before, which neither of your hard drives wanted to be recognized by the BIOS out the gate. We had to flip around some settings to recognize legacy drives or something like that. And even then, it was kind of like a fight. We really had to wrestle with the BIOS on multiple reboots to get it to recognize those. And that was odd. I've never seen that happen before. But hey, we did it and it works. So I am surprised that your Windows 10 decided not to. I mean, it's registered to the motherboard now, so that might be part of it.
Yeah.
Did you have to buy a new key?
Yeah, so I bought a new key, but there's a lot of resellers of retail keys for a lot more reasonably priced than you would find at Micro Center or on Newegg, Amazon, and so on.
Gotta be careful. There are
so
a bunch of people selling fake Russian keys and shit.
I know, and I avoided that, and I bought a retail key, but it was a sale, like price.
Have I ever told you guys about my experience with that before?
I don't believe so, but I've had probably similar experiences. But go right
So
ahead.
there's a Reddit that I won't mention, but I bought keys off of that because I was fairly destitute at the time, and I was building PCs for myself and for my parents, and I didn't want to pay full price. So I also got Office off of that, and I set up all those things with those keys. And lo and behold, ages later, I found that they were making like external requests to other servers for validation, basically bypassing the regular Microsoft update process by going through an external server. But it was causing a ton of like lag and update issues and like, I don't want to say corruption, but like it was causing my mom's email to not load right, which you guys know is a huge issue, not just for her, but for me, because whenever my mom has an issue with her email, it's an issue for me. So once I finally figured that out, I bought new keys and set them up on their computers and everything was fine. But kids, buy valid Windows installations. Make sure if you find a secondhand retailer that they are fully vetted. That's all I'm going to say on that.
I would also just like to say that one of the better things about having a new PC, new build is, boy, you guys saw my old Stalwart tower. It was large. It had a lot of fans, which was cool at the time, but none of them were working anymore. And all I had left was my single stock CPU fan, which was fighting the good fight. But it was, you know when you
losing the good fight.
Yeah, when you go to the beach and you like see a kid karate chopping the ocean. It was kind of like that. And I was like, I'm gonna open up this tower, and they're gonna look at that fan and be like, dude, what the fuck? And boy,
and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Boy, was I right. And I was like, what do you want from me? It's a stock CPU fan from 11 years ago.
But let me ask you a personal question. Did you ever clean that fan?
Yeah, I have.
Wow, really?
I had
Okay.
a couple times, because there were a couple times I had issues with my computer. One was when my video card just died. Another was when I tried to upgrade to Windows 10 and it bricked my entire system because my wireless card was not compatible with Windows 10.
Yeah.
That was a good time. But in those times when I opened up my tower, I would clean out all the fans. But again, most of them just stopped working until we had the last samurai, and God rest its merry soul.
Yeah. So I will ask you one more question, Pinto, about your build, because this came to my mind.
Yes.
Would you ever, it might be 5 years, hopefully, not a full 10 or 11, whatever it was previously. Would you ever build a PC again / by yourself?
I think I know enough now that I would ask you guys for help picking out the parts again, most likely, but I feel confident enough that if I had the parts, I could put it together on my own, yes.
Nice. That was a goal for me with the build. My build aside, if I hadn't done one, I wanted you to feel comfortable opening it up, figuring out like what you could pull out. Like, I know sometimes it could be tough to debug things if you don't have like old components. Because like when you had that video card issue, right, you came to me and I was like, here's 4 video cards. Let's try them all out and see what works. You might not be able to do that stuff, but at least you have an idea of like, this is my video card, this is my RAM, this is my motherboard and processor, these are how they all go together. So that's a good thing. You can install NVMe or a SATA drive yourself now, which is great, and I think that's a great thing for people to do, to understand how their systems work.
Yep. Now,
That's what you need.
Will that happen anytime soon? Unless I win the lottery or come into a much, much better job. And even if I did, like, I just built a new computer. Mm-hmm. Were I to upgrade anything, it would be storage or a video card. Like, everything else will be fine for for quite a while, I think,
I completely agree with that. Yeah, and I would expect that to be the case most likely for 5 years or more.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, like as far as like graphics are concerned, like can we really make things that much more graphically intense than they already are?
I have no idea.
Please stop.
It's got, I believe there was a quote from Futurama, which as we all know took place in the year 3000, where someone was getting yelled at for watching television, and Fry responds, "But it's HD TV. It's got better resolution than the real world." And looking at my monitor, I'm like, wow, you guys look a lot more clear now than you did when I saw you in person 7 days ago.
Well, yeah.
Quite possible.
Possibly.
But I also
Go
need
ahead,
to go to
Penta.
the eye doctor and get my prescription updated, I'm sure. So that might have something to do with it as well.
We also have very strong cameras on both of us.
Yeah, we both have
Oh,
DSLR.
that's something I
mirrorless
did
cameras.
not upgrade is my webcam, which is a Logitech, just probably from about 11 years ago. So
We could
That's-
probably it's still probably fine.
it is. I have no problem with if it stops
Yeah.
working, I'll get a new one.
I use a
I'm-
Logitech from 7 or 8 years ago for my work computer.
I will
have
say
no
I love
interest
the
in
fact that I upgraded to an actual mirrorless camera though, because it looks so much cleaner and the feed is pretty darn good, and it actually opened up a new interest for me, so that's great too.
Hey,
Hey.
I have one more thing I was going to mention about.
Was it A?
Oh, it was about video cards. No, it was about video cards. I think we've hit a point for years and years when I was a little kid, when we were little children, to let's just say somewhere in like 10 years ago, or so, it was like my first 20 years of life. It was all video games are pushing graphics cards to be better. I don't think that's the case at all anymore. I think graphics cards are being pushed by AI, by cryptocurrency, by business application. I'll just leave it as.
Yeah.
Versus by games at this point, because a lot of people get upset that like 4090s cost $1,500. Well, if you are a very large, AI technology company and you need 1,000 of them, that still is a drop in the bucket for what you think the potential revenue is of those cards. So I think we've hit a point where gamers as a whole will need to be happy with being either a generation behind, or if they want to be at that higher level, paying business level prices for those things.
So if you want to hear something funny, I was actually listening to a Linus Tech Tips WAN show, and they brought up a corporate grade graphics card for some application. I forget what it was, if it was AI or 3D modeling or what. It was a $45,000 single graphics card. So even, and I'm sure whatever company is using them has multiples of this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what we have as an extraordinarily high-end consumer grade graphics card is still extremely cheap compared to what the business solutions are. And what will service the 99th percentile of your games at very incredible qualities is significantly less than even that consumer card. So we're in a great spot in terms of what graphics cards can do. And you're absolutely right, Fleming. Games are not what is pushing that anymore.
And I will add on one more comment that NVIDIA, AMD, both the premier video card makers, and Intel, which is now trying to get into the space, are all publicly traded companies. You are welcome to go invest and reap the rewards of the GPU increases.
We'll see what the 5000 series looks like.
I don't know if it's going to be
Tom's
worth
not going to
it,
buy one.
and it's going to be very expensive. So, well, anyway, I'm looking at the clock. We're an hour past. Bill has signed off.
Come back, Bill.
Is no longer listening to the podcast, so we apologize, Bill, from Micro Center, for continuing this podcast a little long.
What if I put his full name as one of the titles?
His name is MC Bill. He's
You know what the
Micro
best-
Center Bill.
William
MC
Beasley
Bill.
from Micro Center. Just one of the titles.
The best part about that is some people do, like, I've Googled my name because I'm curious. Now, my name's it's too used, so like I never really appear. But a lot of other people, would have a little bit more of an uncommon name and be like, oh my god, it's me. So yeah, you, Tom, would probably be one of them, especially your full name. But anyway, so
I don't think Bill would
I don't
sue
know.
us. Do you?
He wouldn't sue us. He'd be like, oh god, why are these guys
Please
talking
take my
about
name
me?
down. And if he did, I would.
And then we would say hi, Bill, the next episode in the podcast. Well, anyway, no.
Bill, let's be friends. That's all we're saying. Let's
Bill
be
was
friends.
a cool guy. I liked him. He was fine,
Yeah.
except for when he sold me a 49.
Bill, I know my friends put you on blast for a little bit there for trying to do the upsell, but I get it. You work on commission. You served me very well, and I appreciate it.
Hey, we spent total like several thousand. It was
Several
like
$1,000s, yes.
Yeah, it was like 2,000-3,000 ish, somewhere in there, dollars. I mean, that was good.
Enjoy
Anyway,
your McChickens, Bill.
Yes, the McChickens.
The best
That's
fast
what
food
we
sandwich.
have. It is. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. You can check us out at joypadpod.com. There's a link tree with our Facebook page, our Twitter, which we've not used in a long time. F you, Elon Musk. And plenty
He was
of
buying
other,
4090s.
plenty of other. He probably was. Plenty
That's
of
the thing,
other
he
things. Plenty of other things on there as well. If you are not on YouTube and you're listening just audioly, this had a lot of visual aids, so recommend you check out our YouTube channel, which is just Joypad. Search for Joypad and you will probably find it in the first search result. Think that's it, right? Yep. No?
I just want to say that now that I finally have my new build, I am probably going to start producing a lot more content. Just because it'll be much easier and I don't have to worry about my computer spontaneously combusting like I kind of was getting a little worried about. So
With no fans, yeah.
No
I mean,
fans or PSU popping.
yeah, and smelling burnt plastic. Now that that's not a worry anymore, I plan on making more content. So look out for that in the future. Maybe if my friends, aren't such lazy asses and have some more time, they'll join me. Sorry, I'm
Hey.
putting you on blast, fellas.
Are you gonna edit the videos? Because I never edited the video of the game that we
Dude,
played together.
I played a full game with you, and you never edited the videos. I played a full game with Megan, and she's like, yeah, I'll edit them. Haven't seen the light of day. So that's two full game playthroughs that could be up on the YouTubes that just aren't going to happen. Not saying I didn't have fun playing the games. I definitely did, but...
we played 0 full games together, and I made 0 promises to edit them.
See,
and
but
you know
you
how
were-
many of my games are.
You were open with your intentions, and you know what? That's fine. One day
Actually-
we will beat Diablo 3, okay?
Yeah, that's the one. One day.
Okay, this segue or this has now become a segue. We need to end it. Thanks everybody for listening. Tom, take us out.
Don't let your Segway fly off a mountain and kill you like the guy that invented the Segway. Make sure you keep your Segway on the road and stay joyful. Everyone, build a PC. Bye.
Don't ride a Segway. Goodbye.